Hey guys, thanks for joining me today. I'm going to go over some fundamentals about the motor. I know a lot of you have asked about the motor and all the things it can do. It's an awesome piece of equipment, but there's some things that you want to learn so you get the most bang for your buck out of it, and also that you don't hurt yourself. So I'm going to teach you some safety things, also how you can progress and how you can regress, depending on how you're feeling and what your body needs. So I have my motor set up right now, long ways onto my mat. A couple of things I call it, everyone calls things a little differently. Obviously, this is the roller. I have a grip little sleeve on mine. You can get those at Balance Body, or you can wear grip socks if you like, or just use it itself. When they're brand new, they're kind of slick. So just to know, either go completely barefoot or wear grip socks. Also, this is a little crossbar. It comes out, it comes off, because we can do things with just the arm itself. It's called the arm. These are called avocados. Okay, this is where the weight is. And real quick, if you look at the buttons on the avocados, if there's gray and white showing, that button's completely punched out. So if both of them are out, that is 3 pounds. So it's the lightest. If you punch one button in, it's 6 pounds. 2 buttons in and only you see gray, that's 9 pounds. So I'm going to have 3 pounds on. Also, a quick thing to know is always change it when it's completely loose. So don't pull on it and then try to change the buttons that way. It'll malfunction. So just something to know and to learn. All right, right now, like I said, I have all the buttons punched out. So you see the gray and the white. So it's 3 pounds on each. We're just going to go over a few things on how to use this thing and have some fun with it. So go ahead and stand up, face your roller. We're starting out the very back. Little balance work just to see how it feels, just to try it out. So start with one foot on, doesn't matter which one. Put your foot on top of it. Quick thing is make sure when your foot is on, you're not at the back. I'm not on my toes because it can flip. Also on the back end or the front end of it, you want to watch again that your toes don't go past the front. Okay, you're not on that green part. You're completely solid. There's these little wedges on the bottom here, right here, that hold it in place and keep it stable. With these wedges, I always make sure that have an inch or two of space on each end. Okay, you don't want it all the way out to the very, very end. Again, you want it stable. So, and you don't want to have it all the way pulled in. Okay, this is where I like to have it. For me, I feel like this is pretty stable. So again, some personal preferences. Also, there's a carabiner at the very end. Right now, mine's at the very bottom. A lot of times I like to have it at the very top. That's how I want to have my bar. I can just flip it over and it'll be fine. But I don't like when it's on the side, because we do things where we hook it and then it's already set up for me. So just a couple little things. Okay, with that said, so placing one foot on, making sure, like I said, it's not at that back end. Just see about your balance. Lift up, step down. Have a focal point. That does help tremendously. If you have something in your room that you can look at and focus on. The other thing is watching your hips. So when you're coming up and down, I'll face this way. You want to watch that you're not swinging your hip like this, right? When you're coming up, you're trying to lift up tall and get all the way up where your pelvis is even. And that does take support. You have to use both sides. You can't just let the other leg hang. Try the other leg, see how it feels coming up and down. We usually have a stronger side, right? The favorable side. And also when you step down, lightly come down. Try not to slam back onto the ground, real light. The other key factor, anytime, because we are bending, we're doing a bunch of lunging and squat type positions, is watching the tracking of your knee and toes, just like you would do in any other sort of class, lunges and squats and all sorts of stuff. Watching that when you're going, your knee is not moving all over the place. That's why I like to practice first, feeling what this feels like. Okay. Then we can play with it as a balance beam and really feel how that feels. Start with one foot back. Again, watch that you're not all the way on that back end. And then step the other one on and walk all the way. Maybe you tap the front. And then the hard part is walking back because you can't see where you are, and tap. And use your arms. Just play with it. You can just take a couple steps. You can make it bigger. Just see how it feels. Well, I'm a little wiggly too. This is a challenging thing to do. Just play with it back and forth. It's kind of fun. All right, so moving on. I'm gonna go ahead, put one foot on and grab the straps. Now we have it on lightweight, so it shouldn't lift up. But if I had heavier weight on and I didn't have my foot on, it would lift up. So just, again, stability. We're trying to keep everything stable. So I have my foot on. I'm going to walk a little towards the back. I have my right foot on. I have these straps. They do give you a little assistance for some of the balance as well. Arms are straight. Chest is lifted. Think posture, tall. This time I'm going to come up and balance and then step right back down. I may add a little pull of the straps back. Give a little feedback. It adds a little upper body. Now with my other leg right now, I'm just practicing taking it off. Maybe I tap the roller with that leg until I feel comfortable to add on. Adding on, we can add a knee, right? So it progresses a little bit more. We have to have a little more hang time. That's the thing with this too. I never want you to feel like, oh, I'm going to fall back. I'm just going, oh, I just got to get it up there and fall back. Rather, just try to get up and then slow down, right? Don't progress before you really have to. Try it. And if you're not ready, go back to what you were doing previously. Adding on, we can add a kick to it. I still have my arms. Lift the chest. We can do combos where we do a knee and then we do a kick. We can even stay on top. Try the other leg. So going to the other side because it's going to feel totally different, or it may not, depending on you. So try it first, little tap, gently set down, making sure again, when you set your foot down, it's a light landing. Now let's change the arms this time. Let's do a bicep curl. See how it feels now that the arms are going in front. Maybe I add that knee lift. It should feel a little different because the arms are going in front rather than behind us. We can add that kick. So right now I'm only lightly stepping back. Again, to progress, I can add a lunge. Makes it a little harder, gets the heart rate up, right? We can add that knee lift, the kick, lunge. Again, that's going to get your heart rate going a little bit more, be a little bit more challenging. All right. Another thing we can do is add other arm movements. Can do a lateral raise and add a lateral leg. I can switch. Other side, out. So it challenges us because we keep shifting weight as well. And also you got to make sure you get your foot back on this every time. All right, so I'm going to bring this back down. Another thing I always have handy for me is a little pad. I just cut up a mat that was old for me, a little pad, because we're going to sit on this thing, do some rolling back, like short box, like we would do on the reformer. Sometimes it kills your tailbone, your butt crack, your spine. If you're sensitive, then have something handy. Some people have just used a blanket, folded up. But like I said, I have a old mat I like to use, and it gives me a little extra cushion, and it has a little bit of grip to it because it was a mat. All right, so we're going to play with this short box variation. Face your crossbar. You're going to take a seat on top of the roller. I'm going to add some weight to it. When we do this movement, adding some weight gives you a little more feedback. It might even give you more assistance, which is kind of nice, especially when you're learning. You have to stabilize your upper girdle a little bit more. If you lighten up the weight and go to the 3 pounds, then it's a little more challenging on your core because it's not helping you get back up, okay? So let's go to 6 pounds. So you're only gonna take one button in. Again, you didn't pull it out on both sides. So we're even. What I do first is I sit back maybe 2/3 of the way back. If you're taller, you might have to go back further. If you're shorter, maybe a little bit more forward, again, on your leg length. Take your feet underneath that bar. Wedge them in. Everyone has different preferences. This is how I personally do it because I don't feel my hip flexors grabbing and doing the work for me. I wedge my feet under and push my toes down. I'm not flexing my feet back and pulling up on the bar. Not to say that's not a bad thing. Some people like to do that. But for me, when I do that, I tend to grip my hip flexors too much. So I press my feet down and wedge them forward. Again, personal preference. I'm going to grab onto these straps, slip my wrist through, and hold on to that carabiner on each side. So from here, sitting tall, find your posture without rounding our upper back. Exhale, tuck your butt under. So squeeze it, use your abs to roll you down. Take a breath, then exhale, use your abs to roll you all the way back up. Again, exhale, initiate from your low belly. That pulls you back, wedging the feet down. Now you're welcome to move just a little bit and go in just a small little tuck. Depending on your back, on how you're feeling, you can go all the way down, imprinting every little bone down, and then exhale all the way up. And like I said, we added a little bit of weight, so it gives us a little bit of that feedback and helps us up. If you get stuck, little bicep curl, and that'll get you on up. All right, from here, roll down, find that sweet spot where you feel your abs, your shoulders are relaxed, you got your upper girdle engaged, and we're gonna go down and up. Tiny little crunches. Use your breath. Exhale as you crunch up. Give me 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come all the way up. From here, I'm gonna release the straps, hold on to them, interlace my fingers right at my chest. Sitting tall, I'm going to start into a rotation, get a little oblique, little twist to the right, squeeze that roller, tuck your butt, roll down to the right, as low as you want to go, coming back up and back to center. Twist first, exhale. Inhale as you go down. Exhale, use your abs to come up and back to center. Exhale, you twist. And inhale down. And again, you can feel your body on the roller. That's the cool thing about it. As you go down, am I moving in the middle? Am I rolling down one bone at a time? Or am I falling off this thing and starting to lean to one side? And all the way back up. So we should be feeling those obliques kick in here and down. And like we did, in the center, twist to the right, roll down, find your sweet spot, squeeze down your armpit, give me tiny crunches, engage those obliques. Little exhales here and up, pressing through the feet, and 3, 2, 1. Stay here, twist to the center, twist to that other side, we're there, and little lifts here, up. Abs are in. Again, if this is too much, come up a little higher, right? You can always modify. 3, 2, 1, come all the way up, back to center. Give yourself a little release. You can grab that bar, give yourself a nice stretch through your back. Take a breath. All right, from here, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm actually gonna get rid of this for right now. I don't need it right now. I'm going to straddle. Knees. If you have any issues kneeling, I would fold up your mat, put a little pad under your knees. Have these things handy for classes. A little pad for your back, a pad for your knees, because some of these positions aren't that comfortable. We can always change them then. So first off, I have still the 6 pounds on. So I'm going to keep it there for right now. I'm straddling it really. I have my toes curled underneath me. Not everyone's comfortable with that. We do want to practice flexion in the toes, though, super important. But if you need to have your feet flat, if that's more comfortable for you, you can do that. Another option is having the feet back here. I feel like you do have to hold yourself a lot more than with the legs back. So it's another option. So you can stay here, grab your strap, sit real tall, and we can go into some bicep curls. You can stay here. We can alternate. That's what's so cool about this, is they're independent from each other. We can go quick. We can go slow. All sorts of stuff. With the knees back, what's fun about this is we can add some other elements with our legs. The thing is when this is on a heavier, and we're gonna add some lifting here, you have to squeeze in with your inner thighs big time, or this thing is gonna pop up. So if I'm holding this and I start to do a bicep curl and I'm not squeezing my legs, it's gonna lift. So we don't want that to happen. So make sure it stays down. So how I do that is I need to squeeze my inner thighs onto this thing. I squeeze my ankles and heels into it to give me a little bit more stability as well. So now that I'm upright, a little more resistance. For one, I have to use my thighs, right? And you gotta squeeze your butt. And then the other thing is I can add a little activity in the glutes. Get the legs working, adding a whole other element, going into some single arm. Ooh, it moves. I'm not squeezing with my thighs. So you can see, uh-oh, I gotta squeeze this thing, right? Hold here. From here, if that bar moved, just release. I always like to have mine level, so fix it. We can stay in this position, crisscross our ropes, choke up onto it. I hold up on the carabiners. If it's too heavy, just hold the loops instead. All right, so sitting on this thing again, never resting on it. So when you sit, don't think that I'm just taking a break. Actually lift up, give me a few little rows. Lift up. We can do what we did earlier and add that lift, squeezing from the inner thighs as you lift. We can add a little twist as well as you're up. Lots of fun things, right? Double arm into single arm, right? Fun little challenges that we can do facing this direction. So from here as well, come up to a full kneel. Now you can do this standing. Actually, let's come to standing to feel the difference. So I'm going to take the weight down here back to 3 pounds. So all the buttons are pushed out. Make sure they're even. Now I'm going to squeeze the roller with my ankles, and I have the straps. So same thing. Use your inner thighs. From here, chest is up, chest expansion. Press arms back and forward. Getting that squeeze of the roller so it doesn't lift. We can go into a hinge position, work our back a little bit more. Feeling the backs of our arms, our lats working, hold it back, go right into tricep extensions. Pulling our abs in still, finding some length in our spine. Playing around with it here, coming all the way up. All right, release these. So, turning around, we're gonna get a little bit more upper body, core work, and legs. I have it on the 3 pounds still. All I'm gonna do is turn and have my backside at that crossbar. You can also lift it and move it to the other side, depending on space and how you have things set up. So I'm just gonna turn around. From here, coming back down into that kneeling position like we did earlier. Like I said, you're welcome to come here if that's going to feel better for you, right? And not on your knees. So tons of options depending on how your body's feeling. So I'm going to grab onto these straps here. I'm going to hold onto them overhand grip, like so, on each. Staying down, elbows out, going into a double punch. So like we did when we were facing the other direction, I can add a lift and get a little bit more glute work. I can add a single arm, squeeze your butt, squeeze your roller with your inner thighs. I can add a twist in the single arm. So as my left arm goes out, I'm twisting right. Right arm, I twist left. Keep squeezing the roller, trying to keep our pelvis as squared off and even as possible. And reach. and back to double. So again, playing all different ways around it. From here, we can go into our big scoop and arm circles kneeling. Again, I want to level it up a little bit. I'm going to come here. I can do this standing. I can do it standing on top of the roller, a little harder. Okay, from here, I'm going to go ahead and release those and come on off. All right, so feet and straps, one of the favorite of most people on the reformer, but we can do it right here. It is a lot of inner thighs and it's a lot of core, which is kind of cool. So playing with the weight, I like to put all the buttons in, put the 9 pounds on, make it the heaviest it can go. You can go lighter, you can go to the 6 pounds, which is perfectly fine. Going lighter to 3 pounds, it's not going to be about the legs anymore. It's going to be about the core. So if you take classes, it will be whatever the teacher is going to tell you, whatever they want. So just know when you change that weight, it's going to change that exercise. So I'm going to punch all the buttons in. Now I learned, and I can't remember who I learned this from, how to get into these straps the best way, because if you lay down and try to put your feet into them, you're going to fall off this thing and do all sorts of stuff. So that is not fun. So I punched all my buttons in first. I'm going to turn around so my backside's at the bar and have a seat. Then I'm at the back. I'm going to put one foot into the strap on my arch, not my ankle. And then I'm going to take the other one on. It's heavy. You're going to feel that weight. Then once I'm here, walk my feet forward. I have a hand in the front, hand in the back. Slide, walk those feet forward, slide and walk. I want to get my butt as far as I can without it tipping. Okay, walk the feet forward. You can go down a couple different ways. You can support your hands and come down, or if you're feeling good, you can do a roll down here. Make sure those feet are out in front of you. Take your time, rolling all the way down. Once you're down, you might have to adjust. I know I usually do. Make sure your head is on the gray part. It's not on this plastic green part. Okay, so your whole body from your tail to your head is completely on the roller. Then find your spine. Make sure you're even. Might take a few sometimes. Then take your hands down onto the floor. Take one leg up. Get that strap in your arch. Find tabletop. Find that stability. Then take the other and then bend both knees. So we're in a tabletop position. Use your abs to support you. Your arms out to the sides. Relax the shoulders. And then from here, we're going to press out and in. So just like the reformer, except it's not moving, right? Just your legs are moving. But you have to work a lot harder to stabilize on top of this roller. The other thing to think about as you're moving out and in is how low or high the legs go. The lower the legs go, the harder it's going to be on your core. Be mindful of your back. So if you need to angle up just a little bit, perfectly fine. Hold the legs straight, let them go up and down. So now again, finding that range, use your abs and exhale as your legs go down. Inhale as they go up. Now, maybe we do one leg at a time. So if I start at the top, both legs at the top, it's a little easier. Now, if I bring both legs at the lower end and then do it, it's a little bit more work on the core to get one leg up and down. Now hold the legs at the bottom, externally rotate, heels together, and move into your frog. So again, just like we would do on our reformer. Squeeze your heels together, press it out, pull the abs in, and let's hold our legs out and go to an open close. Again, finding your range. Now the thing with this, because the legs are independent, is you can do one leg at a time. You just won't be able to go very far, but you can do it. Bring the legs back, go to parallel leg circles, up, out, and around. Again, finding your range, squeeze your thighs. You're gonna feel your inner thighs working. And that's because these straps are a lot wider than on the reformer. So we have to use our inner thighs a whole lot more than we would. So they start talking to you. Reverse those circles around. Pull your abs in. Take your time. Got a couple more. And then let's hold the legs down and scissor. One leg up, one is down. So that's the fun part of this too. They're independent. I can stay with the scissors here. I can go into bicycle. You can go into helicopter, right? All sorts of fun little things here. And we can go into Peter Pan, like we would on the Reformer. But again, you have to use your core. Try to let your shoulders relax as you're doing this. All right, bend your knees, set one foot down at a time. Make sure your feet are out a little away from you. The other cool thing is when you're done with this, we can take an awesome chest opener. So reach underneath that crossbar with your hands. Take a nice deep breath. Feel that stretch in the front of your chest. As you breathe into it, if you need even more, walk your hands a little wider under those avocados. Press your elbows down, and you're going to feel that stretch in a whole other place. Might feel good, might not, depending how tight you are. So everything we can do on a foam roller, we can do right here. You can take your arms up, go into some open closes, into goal post, practice that. What's so cool about it is that you have this bar that's behind you that you can actually hold on to and get such a big stretch where we get so tight in our chest and around our shoulders and our shoulder blades. That's what's so cool about it. All right, from here, you can one of two things. Use your hands, push into it, and press yourself up. Or we can walk those feet forward, arms back, and do a roll up, which is kind of fun to do. Now to get out of it, walk your feet back, hold on to that roller, slide, walk, slide all the way to the back end. So then we can take our feet out. Nice. So easiest way to get in and out of those suckers, and you're not going to fly off of this roller. All right, so let's do a little waist work. So let's have a seat in the center of our machine. Now, depending on your body, you can go to 3 pounds, which is all the buttons punched out, or 6 pounds. Play with it, see where it feels best for you. So I'm going to sit in the center. Another thing is I can move out a little further, just a little. Remember, I don't want to go on that end, to give myself a little extra feedback as well, okay? But I always start in the center and see how it goes. From here, I'm going to take that strap, interlace my hands out in front of me. I'm sitting tall on the roller for this first part, and add a nice little twist. Finding the wringing out from your waist. The other thing is keeping our legs nice and even so they're not shifting around. If it's not heavy enough, you can choke up onto it, add a little bit more. Okay. Another option, which is kind of fun, is to now slide your butt down a little bit, go in a little tuck position. You got to find that sweet spot for your butt, kind of right on the tip of your tailbone. Little scoop in your abs, and then we can go into that twist. But I like to take my elbows and dip them down like so. So one is up, one is down. Again, watching the legs, we can even play with a little legs, right? To take it just to different levels for your body. All right. And then you can flip the roller to the other side and do the other side, or you can just flip around and do the other direction. So you want to make sure you're going to do both directions, right? All right. From here, I'm just going to move mine back a little bit so I have some space. And then have a seat on your mat against your roller. I'm going to place my shoulder blades right on it, kind of right underneath or maybe slightly up on my shoulder blades. Again, you have to play with it where it feels good for you. Feet down, little tuck of your tail. Support your head, little back extension. So from here, I want to watch my head doesn't go up, down. I'm getting nice traction here. And I'm just lifting my chest as I go up over the roller, finding a little back extension. And then exhale, draw your ribs down, pull them down to lift you up. So we're working through that upper girdle as well. Inhale as you go back, trying not to let our back arch or low back arch, and exhale. So that's the key to this, is stabilizing your pelvis. I don't want to go so far back and arch my back to do it, right? Because that's not helping my upper back whatsoever. Try to go slow. Maybe you only go a little bit. That's fine. Some people might go further than others. It depends on your mobility of your spine. The nice thing about this too is you have that feedback of the roller, and you can give yourself a little massage side to side, which is kind of nice. Massage your back out and breathe into it. But getting our back to move in that opposing direction where we don't like to go. Go ahead and take your hands on your roller, have a little seat on top, extend the legs out in front of you. Go ahead, take a big breath, lift, exhale, reach slowly over and give yourself a nice stretch if this is good for your back and your legs. You can flex your feet, take a nice deep breath, holding here, releasing your neck, and then slowly coming all the way up. Go ahead and carefully stand back up. So, tons of fun things you can do on the roller. We haven't even touched much of it, but there's so much we can do. I mean, I can do things standing on it this way, which I didn't even go over. We can take the arm off and use just the arm itself. We can put it in what's called the suitcase position. We can use the arm independently and stand on top of the roller and do a bunch of stuff. So tons and tons of things to do. I just wanted to go over some fundamentals and get you ready and excited for using your motor. If you are interested in taking classes, I teach a class every Wednesday at 7 a.m. Pacific time via Zoom. It is a link that you get. You just have to Venmo me for the class, and then I send you the link. It is a live class. The replay is also available later that day, and you get that replay for about 10 to 14 days. And so anyways, if you have any questions, comments, if you're looking for something else, if you have any other things that like, wait a second, I'm confused when this happens or this happens, comment, let me know, and I'm here to answer your questions and work you out too. Thanks for joining me today. Have a great one.